Life is a journey filled with twists, turns, and unexpected challenges. At times, we find ourselves stuck, uncertain, or overwhelmed. But what if I told you that a few simple yet powerful pieces of advice could change your life forever? Today, I want to share with you the wisdom that has transformed not just my life, but the lives of many. If you take these lessons to heart, they can redefine your future. Taking full responsibility for your life is the foundation of personal growth and success. It is the realization that everything you experience, your successes, failures, happiness, and struggles is, in some way, a result of your own choices, actions, and mindset. While external factors like family background, economic conditions, or unforeseen circumstances may influence your journey, they do not define your destiny. The moment you stop blaming others and take full ownership of your life, you empower yourself to change it. One of the biggest traps people fall into is the victim mindset. This is when individuals believe that life is happening to them rather than because of them. They blame their upbringing, the economy, their boss, or even fate for their current situation. While it is true that life can be unfair and that we do not always control what happens to us, we always have control over how we respond. The most successful people in the world are not those who never faced hardships, but those who refused to let hardships define them. They took responsibility, adapted, and made the necessary changes to move forward. Taking responsibility means accepting that your thoughts, decisions, and habits shape your reality. If you're unhappy with where you are in life, the first step is not to complain or wait for someone to rescue you. It's to reflect on what you can do differently. This might mean changing your mindset, acquiring new skills, making better financial choices, or surrounding yourself with more positive influences. When you take control of your actions and choices, you shift from a passive participant in life to an active creator of your own future. Another important aspect of responsibility is emotional accountability. Many people allow their emotions to dictate their behavior, blaming others for their reactions. "He made me angry" or "she ruined my day" are common phrases that shift blame outward. But the truth is, no one has the power to control your emotions unless you allow them to. When you take responsibility for your emotions, you learn to respond rather than react. You become more self-aware, emotionally intelligent, and capable of handling challenges with a clear mind. This mindset also applies to failures. It's easy to point fingers when things go wrong, but true personal growth happens when you acknowledge your mistakes and learn from them. Instead of saying, "I failed because of bad luck," take a step back and ask, "What could I have done differently?" Owning your failures is not about self-blame, it's about self-improvement. Every mistake holds a lesson, and those who take responsibility for their setbacks turn them into stepping stones for success. Moreover, taking responsibility extends to your daily habits. If you consistently procrastinate, ignore your health, or make poor financial decisions, it's not because life is against you, it's because of the small choices you make each day. Recognizing this gives you the power to change. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," acknowledge that you make time for what truly matters to you. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," shift your mindset to "How can I afford it?" Small changes in perspective lead to significant transformations in life. When you embrace responsibility, you stop waiting for someone else to fix your problems. You stop making excuses. You stop relying on luck or circumstances to improve your life. Instead, you take initiative, seek solutions, and commit to the work required to achieve your goals. Responsibility is not a burden, it is the key to freedom. When you fully own your actions and choices, you gain the ability to shape your life in the direction you desire. Getting comfortable with discomfort is one of the most transformative mindsets you can adopt. Growth, success, and achievement never come from staying in a place of ease and familiarity. They come from pushing yourself beyond what feels comfortable, embracing challenges, and learning to thrive in situations that test your limits. The most successful people in any field, business, sports, art, or personal development, are not those who avoided discomfort, but those who welcomed it as a necessary part of growth. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that they should wait until they feel ready before stepping into something difficult. But the truth is, you will never feel fully prepared for the challenges that lead to growth. Whether it's starting a business, learning a new skill, making a major life change, or pursuing a dream, there will always be doubts and uncertainties. If you wait for the perfect moment when you feel completely confident and at ease, you will be waiting forever. The key is to act despite discomfort, knowing that true readiness comes from experience, not from waiting. Discomfort is a signal that you are stepping outside your comfort zone, and this is where real change happens. Think about how muscles grow in the gym. When you lift weights, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers. It's uncomfortable, sometimes painful, but as your body repairs itself, your muscles grow stronger. The same principle applies to personal and professional growth. If you never challenge yourself, you remain stagnant. But if you continuously put yourself in uncomfortable situations, whether it's public speaking, taking on leadership roles, or facing difficult conversations, you develop resilience, confidence, and skills that set you apart. Many people avoid discomfort because they associate it with pain or failure. They fear rejection, embarrassment, or making mistakes, so they choose to stay in their comfort zones. But what they fail to realize is that avoiding discomfort leads to even greater discomfort in the long run. Staying in a job you hate because you're afraid of change leads to long-term dissatisfaction. Avoiding social situations out of fear of awkwardness leads to loneliness. Failing to take care of your health because workouts feel hard leads to serious health issues down the line. Short-term comfort often leads to long-term regret. On the other hand, intentionally exposing yourself to discomfort strengthens your ability to handle life's inevitable challenges. Life is unpredictable, and difficulties will come whether you like it or not. If you are used to avoiding discomfort, these challenges will feel overwhelming. But if you have built the habit of facing discomfort head-on, you become adaptable, mentally strong, and capable of handling anything life throws your way. A powerful way to train yourself to get comfortable with discomfort is by adopting a mindset of continuous challenge. Seek out small ways to push yourself every day. If you're afraid of speaking in public, start by speaking in front of a small group. If you struggle with discipline, set small daily goals and stick to them no matter how you feel. If you avoid difficult conversations, challenge yourself to have one uncomfortable but necessary conversation each week. Over time, what once felt terrifying will become second nature. Discomfort is also where creativity and innovation thrive. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came from people who were willing to sit with discomfort, whether it was the discomfort of failure, uncertainty, or going against the norm. People who succeed in life are those who see discomfort not as something to run from but as a tool for transformation. They train themselves to sit with fear, frustration, and uncertainty without letting those emotions control them. They take action despite discomfort, and in doing so, they expand their potential. Your ability to grow is directly linked to your ability to tolerate discomfort. The more you stretch your limits, the more your limits expand. Comfort zones are not fixed, they are meant to grow. What once felt impossible will become normal, and what once scared you will become the foundation of your success. Mastering the art of discipline is one of the most crucial skills for success in any area of life. While motivation can give you a temporary push, it is discipline that carries you through when motivation fades. Many people rely on feeling inspired to take action, but feelings are fleeting, and waiting for motivation leads to inconsistency. Discipline, on the other hand, is about making a commitment to yourself and following through, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with discipline is that they rely too much on emotions when making decisions. They wake up in the morning and ask themselves, do I feel like working out today? Or do I feel like working on my goals? More often than not, the answer is no, because the human brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. However, disciplined individuals do not ask themselves whether they feel like doing something, they simply do it because they have made a commitment to their goals. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who only talk about them. Many people have big aspirations, but very few are willing to put in the consistent effort required to turn those dreams into reality. They may start strong, but the moment things become difficult or inconvenient, they give up. The truth is, anything worth achieving, whether it's building a successful career, getting in shape, or mastering a skill, requires long-term effort and perseverance. Discipline is the bridge between setting a goal and achieving it. A key aspect of discipline is developing strong habits. Habits determine the majority of our daily actions, and disciplined individuals create routines that set them up for success. For example, someone who wants to be physically fit doesn't rely on occasional bursts of motivation to exercise. Instead, they create a disciplined habit of working out at a specific time every day, no matter what. A writer doesn't wait for inspiration to strike, they sit down and write consistently, even on days when they don't feel particularly creative. By building habits, discipline becomes second nature, reducing the need for constant willpower. Another important factor in discipline is the ability to delay gratification. In today's world, where instant gratification is everywhere, social media, fast food, entertainment, it's easy to get distracted by short-term pleasures that provide immediate satisfaction but derail long-term progress. Disciplined individuals understand that real success requires sacrifice. They are willing to put in the hard work now for a great reward in the future. This principle applies to all areas of life. Saving money instead of spending impulsively, choosing healthy meals instead of junk food, studying instead of watching TV. The ability to delay gratification is a hallmark of disciplined and successful people. Discipline also means staying committed even when results are not immediate. One of the main reasons people quit is because they don't see instant progress. They go to the gym for a few weeks and don't see major changes, so they stop. They start a business and don't make money right away, so they give up. However, true success is a result of cumulative effort over time. Disciplined individuals understand that progress is often invisible in the early stages. They trust the process, stay consistent, and keep pushing forward even when it feels like nothing is happening. Another key component of discipline is self-control. Life is full of distractions and temptations that can pull you away from your goals. Whether it's wasting time on social media, indulging in unhealthy habits, or procrastinating, lack of self-control leads to unproductive behavior. Disciplined individuals recognize these distractions and take proactive steps to eliminate or minimize them. They create structured environments that make it easier to stay focused, whether that means setting time limits on apps, creating daily schedules, or surrounding themselves with people who encourage discipline. Developing discipline is not about being perfect. It's about consistently choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. There will be days when you slip up or feel unmotivated, but the key is to keep going regardless. Every time you push through resistance and stick to your commitments, you strengthen your discipline, making it easier to stay on track in the future. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, yet it is often one of the hardest to master. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others, missing out on opportunities, or being perceived as selfish. However, the ability to say no is essential for protecting your time, energy, and mental well-being. When you constantly say yes to everything, you spread yourself too thin, leaving little room for the things that truly matter. Understanding when and how to say no is a skill that can dramatically improve your life. One of the biggest reasons people have trouble saying no is the desire to please others. From a young age, we are taught to be polite, accommodating, and helpful. While these are valuable qualities, they can become problematic when they lead to overcommitment. Many people agree to things they don't want to do simply because they don't want to upset someone. Whether it's taking on extra work, attending unnecessary social events, or agreeing to favors that drain their energy, they say yes out of guilt or obligation. Over time, this can lead to burnout, resentment, and a loss of personal fulfillment. Saying no is not about being rude or inconsiderate, it's about setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries define what is acceptable in your life and what is not. Without them, people will take advantage of your time and generosity, often without even realizing it. When you have clear boundaries, you respect yourself and teach others to respect you as well. For example, if you are always the person who stays late at work because others ask for help, your co-workers may start expecting it. However, if you set a firm boundary and politely decline when you have other priorities, they will learn to manage their tasks without relying on you unnecessarily. Another important reason to learn to say no is to protect your focus and productivity. Every time you say yes to something that does not align with your goals, you are taking time and energy away from the things that do. Many successful people understand that their most valuable resource is time. They guard it carefully, only committing to things that bring them closer to their aspirations. If you want to achieve something significant, whether it's starting a business, improving your health, or developing a skill, you need to be selective about how you spend your time. Saying no to distractions and low-priority tasks allows you to dedicate yourself fully to what truly matters. One of the most effective ways to say no is to be direct but polite. Many people over-explain or make excuses when declining something, which can lead to unnecessary guilt or pressure. Instead, keep it simple and firm. For example, if someone invites you to an event you're not interested in, you can say, "Thank you for the invite, but I won't be able to make it." You don't need to justify your decision or offer a long explanation. If someone asks you to take on extra work that you don't have time for, you can say, "I appreciate the opportunity, but I have other commitments right now." Being clear and confident in your response makes it easier for others to accept your decision. It's also important to recognize that saying no does not mean closing the door to opportunities forever. Sometimes you may need to decline something now in order to focus on your current priorities. But that doesn't mean you won't be open to it later. For example, if a colleague asks you to collaborate on a project but your schedule is full, you can say, "I'd love to work together in the future, but right now I'm fully booked." This approach keeps the relationship positive while still protecting your time. Another key aspect of saying no is overcoming the fear of missing out, FOMO. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel like you need to be involved in everything. Social media constantly shows us what others are doing, making it tempting to say yes to every event, opportunity, or social gathering. However, spreading yourself too thin often leads to exhaustion and dissatisfaction. Instead of trying to do everything, focus on doing a few things exceptionally well. Quality is always more valuable than quantity. Saying no also applies to negative influences in your life. If you have people around you who drain your energy, bring negativity, or discourage your growth, it's important to set boundaries with them. You don't have to engage in every argument, entertain toxic relationships, or allow others to pull you away from your goals. Sometimes the most powerful way to protect your peace is by simply refusing to engage with negativity. Learning to say no is a skill that gets easier with practice. The more you do it, the more confident you become in prioritizing your own needs. It allows you to take control of your life, focus on what truly matters, and build a future that aligns with your values. Surrounding yourself with the right people is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. The people you spend the most time with shape your mindset, influence your habits, and ultimately determine the direction of your life. Whether you realize it or not, your environment plays a huge role in your success, happiness, and overall well-being. If you want to grow, achieve great things, and live a fulfilling life, you must be intentional about the company you keep. One of the biggest reasons why surrounding yourself with the right people is so important is the power of influence. Humans are naturally influenced by those around them, often without even realizing it. If you spend time with people who are negative, unmotivated, or constantly complaining, you will start to adopt their mindset and behaviors. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with ambitious, positive, and driven individuals, their energy and habits will inspire you to push yourself to new levels. There is a well-known saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This means that your income, attitude, mindset, and level of success are often a reflection of the people closest to you. If you spend time with people who make excuses, avoid challenges, or settle for mediocrity, you will likely do the same. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge themselves, take risks, and strive for excellence, you will naturally rise to their level. Choosing the right people to be in your life is not just about success, it's also about mental and emotional well-being. The people around you can either lift you up or bring you down. Toxic relationships, whether with friends, family members, or co-workers, can drain your energy, lower your confidence, and create unnecessary stress. It's important to recognize when someone is having a negative impact on your life and take steps to distance yourself. Protecting your peace is just as important as pursuing your goals. Surrounding yourself with the right people also means finding those who genuinely support you. True friends and mentors are not just there for the good times, they encourage you during challenges, hold you accountable, and push you to become better. They celebrate your successes without jealousy and offer constructive feedback when needed. Having people in your life who believe in you, even when you doubt yourself, can make all the difference in your journey. If you want to improve the quality of your relationships, start by evaluating the people around you. Ask yourself, do they inspire me? Do they challenge me to grow? Do they support my goals and dreams? Do they bring positivity into my life? If the answer is no, it may be time to seek out new connections. This doesn't mean cutting people off without reason, but it does mean being intentional about who you invest your time and energy into. One of the best ways to surround yourself with the right people is to actively seek out environments where growth-oriented individuals gather. This could mean joining a mastermind group, attending networking events, finding a mentor, or participating in communities that align with your interests and ambitions. Engaging with people who share your values and aspirations will naturally elevate your mindset and opportunities. It's also important to remember that relationships should be mutually beneficial. Just as you seek to surround yourself with high-quality people, strive to be someone who uplifts others. Be supportive, encouraging, and willing to share knowledge and opportunities. Strong relationships are built on reciprocity, where both parties add value to each other's lives. Sometimes the hardest part of surrounding yourself with the right people is letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. This can be difficult, especially when it involves long-term friendships or family members. However, growth often requires making tough choices. If someone is constantly discouraging you, belittling your goals, or bringing negativity into your life, it may be necessary to set boundaries or limit your interactions with them. The people around you have a direct impact on your mindset, actions, and success. By choosing to surround yourself with individuals who inspire, challenge, and support you, you create an environment that nurtures growth and fulfillment. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It means recognizing that you are in control of your actions, choices, and outcomes. Many people go through life blaming external factors for their circumstances, whether it's their upbringing, financial situation, bad luck, or the actions of others. While external factors can have an impact, the truth is that your life is ultimately shaped by the decisions you make and the way you respond to challenges. Taking responsibility means refusing to see yourself as a victim and instead embracing the power you have to change your life. One of the most common ways people avoid responsibility is by making excuses. Excuses provide temporary comfort but keep you stuck in the same place. When people say, "I don't have time to exercise," what they really mean is that they are not prioritizing their health. When they say, "I can't start a business because I don't have money," what they often mean is that they haven't explored creative ways to get started. Excuses create a false sense of security, allowing people to avoid discomfort and difficult decisions. However, nothing changes until you take ownership of your circumstances and start looking for solutions instead of reasons why something can't be done. Taking responsibility also means understanding that no one else is coming to save you. Many people wait for the perfect opportunity, the right circumstances, or someone to give them permission to take action. They wait for the government to fix their problems, for their boss to recognize their worth, or for a lucky break to come their way. But successful people understand that they must take charge of their own lives. They do not wait for external validation or perfect conditions. They take action with what they have and adjust along the way. Another important aspect of taking responsibility is accepting mistakes and failures as part of the learning process. People who refuse to take responsibility often blame others when things go wrong. They blame their teachers for their lack of education, their partners for their unhappiness, or their employers for their financial struggles. However, shifting blame does nothing to improve the situation. Owning up to mistakes allows you to learn from them and make better choices in the future. When you take responsibility, you shift your mindset from "why did this happen to me?" to "what can I do to improve this?" That simple shift in perspective can be life-changing. Taking responsibility also applies to your emotions and reactions. Many people believe that others are responsible for their feelings. Statements like "they made me angry" or "they ruined my day" are common examples of this mindset. However, the truth is that you control how you react to situations. No one has the power to control your emotions unless you give it to them. When you take responsibility for your emotions, you become less reactive, more resilient, and better equipped to handle difficult situations with a clear mind. Another critical aspect of taking responsibility is financial accountability. Many people struggle with money because they do not take ownership of their financial habits. They blame their low income, high expenses, or the economy for their financial struggles. However, financial success is often the result of disciplined money management, smart investments, and long-term planning. Taking responsibility means tracking your spending, setting financial goals, and making informed decisions about how you use your money. Instead of saying, "I'm broke," because life is unfair, responsible individuals ask, "What steps can I take to improve my financial situation?" Health is another area where personal responsibility plays a huge role. Many people neglect their health and later blame genetics, lack of time, or stress for their poor well-being. While some factors are beyond your control, the choices you make every day, what you eat, how much you exercise, and how well you take care of your body have a direct impact on your health. Taking responsibility means making conscious decisions that support your physical and mental well-being rather than making excuses for unhealthy habits. Taking responsibility for your life also means recognizing that your time is valuable. Many people waste hours every day on distractions, entertainment, and unproductive activities, then complain that they don't have enough time to work on their goals. The truth is, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but how you use that time determines your progress. When you take responsibility, you become intentional about how you spend your time, prioritizing tasks that move you closer to your goals rather than those that provide temporary satisfaction. One of the biggest signs of personal responsibility is the ability to take control of your own happiness. Many people believe that happiness comes from external sources, relationships, money, success, or recognition. However, true happiness comes from within. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you stop depending on others to make you feel fulfilled. You focus on gratitude, self-improvement, and living in alignment with your values. You understand that happiness is a choice, not something that happens to you. Taking responsibility for your life is not always easy. It requires self-awareness, honesty, and the willingness to make difficult choices. However, once you embrace personal responsibility, you gain the power to create the life you truly want. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity is one of the most transformative mindsets you can develop. Many people fear failure so much that they avoid taking risks, stepping out of their comfort zones, or pursuing their dreams. They see failure as a sign of incompetence, weakness, or personal inadequacy. However, the truth is that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a crucial part of it. Every successful person has experienced failure multiple times, but what sets them apart is their ability to learn from it, adapt, and keep moving forward. One of the biggest misconceptions about failure is that it defines you. People who fear failure often believe that making a mistake means they are not good enough or that they are incapable of success. This mindset leads to hesitation, procrastination, and an unwillingness to take action. However, failure is not a reflection of your worth, it is simply feedback. It is a signal that something did not work, giving you valuable information about what needs to change. Instead of seeing failure as an endpoint, it should be viewed as a stepping stone toward improvement. History is filled with examples of highly successful individuals who failed repeatedly before achieving greatness. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb, but he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television early in her career. These individuals did not let failure stop them. Instead, they used it as motivation to push forward. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers. It provides lessons that cannot be learned through success alone. When things go wrong, you are forced to analyze what happened, identify mistakes, and find ways to improve. This process builds resilience, problem-solving skills, and a deeper understanding of what it takes to succeed. In fact, some of the most innovative ideas and breakthroughs come from failure. When something doesn't work, it forces you to think creatively and explore alternative approaches. Another reason why failure is valuable is that it builds mental toughness. Many people quit after experiencing setbacks because they are not prepared to handle disappointment. However, those who learn to embrace failure develop resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks are inevitable. The stronger your ability to handle failure, the more prepared you are to face challenges with confidence. One of the key ways to embrace failure is by shifting your perspective on it. Instead of seeing it as something to be ashamed of, view it as a necessary part of growth. Failure means you're trying, pushing your limits, and stepping outside your comfort zone. The only real failure is not trying at all. When you reframe failure as a learning experience rather than a personal defeat, it becomes easier to take risks and pursue ambitious goals. Fear of failure often holds people back from taking action. Many individuals hesitate to start a new business, learn a new skill, or chase their dreams because they are afraid of looking foolish or making mistakes. However, avoiding failure often leads to regret. It is better to try and fail than to never try at all and wonder what could have been. Taking risks and accepting the possibility of failure is the only way to grow and discover what you are truly capable of achieving. Another important aspect of embracing failure is learning to separate failure from identity. Just because you failed at something does not mean you are a failure. People who succeed in life understand that failure is an event, not a permanent label. They do not allow temporary setbacks to define their future. Instead, they use failure as an opportunity to analyze, adjust, and come back stronger. One of the most effective ways to turn failure into a learning opportunity is by developing a habit of self-reflection. After experiencing a setback, take time to analyze what went wrong. Ask yourself questions such as, what did I learn from this experience? What could I have done differently? How can I apply this lesson moving forward? By actively reflecting on failure, you turn it into a tool for growth rather than a source of discouragement. Surrounding yourself with the right people also plays a key role in how you handle failure. When you have mentors, supportive friends, or role models who encourage you, it becomes easier to stay motivated after setbacks. Successful people often have a strong support system that helps them maintain perspective and stay focused on long-term goals. It is also important to celebrate failure as part of the journey to success. Many organizations and leaders encourage a culture where failure is not punished, but embraced as part of innovation. For example, in the tech industry, companies often say, fail fast, fail forward. This means that instead of fearing mistakes, they encourage learning from them quickly and using the knowledge gained to improve. When you stop fearing failure and start embracing it as a natural part of growth, you become unstoppable. You gain the confidence to take bold action, try new things, and continue pushing forward even when things don't go as planned. The most successful people in the world are not those who never fail, but those who refuse to let failure define them. Practicing gratitude and positivity has the power to transform your life. In a world filled with stress, challenges, and negativity, It can be easy to focus on what is going wrong rather than appreciating what is going right. However, gratitude is one of the most powerful mindsets you can develop. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have, helping you see the beauty in everyday life. When you practice gratitude consistently, you train your mind to find the good in every situation, making you a more optimistic, resilient, fulfilled person. Many people mistakenly believe that happiness comes from external achievements, more money, a bigger house, a better job, or a perfect relationship. While these things can bring temporary joy, true happiness comes from within. People who constantly chase external validation often find themselves feeling empty, even after achieving their goals. However, those who practice gratitude understand that happiness is a choice. It is not about waiting for everything to be perfect, but rather appreciating what you have in the present moment. Gratitude has been scientifically proven to improve mental and emotional well-being. Studies show that people who regularly express gratitude experience lower stress levels, improved mood, and better overall health. When you take time to acknowledge what you are grateful for, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters responsible for feelings of happiness and contentment. This means that gratitude is not just a feel-good emotion. It is a powerful tool for rewiring your brain to become more positive.